Hello, this is Sarah Sabin, executive and team coach here in the Leading in the Modern Way video interview series. And I'm really excited to have with me here today Nicole Penn, who is CEO of the EGC Group. Nicole, welcome to the show, and could you briefly introduce yourself to my listeners?
Thank you. I am Nicole Penn, CEO of EGC Group. We're a performance marketing agency in New York.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And you have been at the same company now for 24 years, right?
Yes, yes.
Did you found the company, Nicole?
No, actually, so I had a kind of brief career in advertising and had a big interest in the wave of digital. It's, when I was just starting my career, it was the beginning of the internet, to be honest, and was super interested in it. Met the founder of EGC, Ernie Canadeo, 24 years ago. He had a great boutique agency that was very rooted in traditional media buying, retail, with some great clients like Haagen-Dazs, and he had a great thing started, and I came aboard with a lot of digital interest, and saw an opportunity to be a digital agency, and that's when we started. And he and I have been partners. We're both owners today of the agency. He's moved on to chairman, and it's been a great ride so far.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, a partnership of, that long must be doing something right.
Thank you. It's funny. We were both reflecting on that last week, and as we grow and scale and build a leadership team, we talk about how we've had, how we've had to work through everything from COVID to client challenges to talent challenges, and how we've managed to do so always in a healthy and respectful way, even when we've had, different viewpoints and disagreements. We've always managed to lead our way through it, and we definitely have a respect as we look back on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I want to hone in on the point that disagreement is healthy. So I think, we learn through challenge, we learn through people that have different viewpoints, but as long as that is handled respectfully, and as long as decisions are actually taken at the end of the day, because, sometimes it can lead to an impasse.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as those two things happen, it really is good to have that support as you build and grow a company.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've also, adopted the EOS model, traction, which has been really helpful in bringing our leadership team along and focusing on the business, not just in the business. In any professional service firm or company, you live for your clients, right? You're there in service to your clients, but it's equally important to focus on your business as if your business is your biggest client. And that's been a big focus of ours, especially over the last 2 years, which have been our best years yet. We're just, as we wrap up this year, the last 24 months have been our best. And I think it's been part of that, our partnership and our focus on the growth of the company, the growth of our talent, feeding the business as much as it is feeding our clients and making sure our clients are successful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
To say that.
You.
But also, I think, you raised such an important point. At the beginning of setting up a business, you know, especially if it's a consulting or service-based business and it's your zone of genius, you start off working client projects. And then obviously, as you grow and you scale, it no longer becomes feasible for you to be doing that. As you say, you need to be working on the business, not in the business. But it can be a challenging transition sometimes, and a process to enable that to happen, both an internal and an external process, I think.
Definitely. We set out this year with some pretty aggressive goals. And that was a big discussion for us. Like, do you set a goal that's part of your current forecast, or do you set a stretch goal? And at what point is your stretch goal too much of a stretch? And are you, stressing your leadership team by putting goals that might be too aggressive? But we found a way to have a kind of big, lofty goal, but create a bridge to achieve it. And that's been a useful process for our team. But yeah, it's been an interesting year for sure.
Yeah, I think, moonshot goals can be very motivating. But at the same time, it comes with a sort of acceptance that because it's a very big goal, you might not hit it. So even more than ever, it's like finding evidence of you getting towards that goal when you're going along the journey, rather than waiting until you're there, which I found most type A people, they set goals, you get to the goal, they're like, right, okay, next.
Right.
And this actually really, so having a stretch goal, you have to actually look at, okay, here are the milestones we're hitting along the way. Otherwise, it can be demotivating rather than motivating.
Yeah, and we found that, well, one, we created kind of a goal bridge of how we can get there. And so it brought it to life and mapped out, okay, this is how we do it. But we also had goals, that were beyond financial, in terms of team health, team happiness, process goals, which no one gets excited about process goals, but having systems in place to set us up for future. And even we got really succinct on our own kind of marketing and sales processes, and in terms of what are we going to put out, what content will we put out, what cadence and what prospecting will we have each week. And I think the one rally cry that I've had is, if we were doing some of these things a year ago, we'd probably surpass the goal that we had. So it's just keeping a scorecard of all of these specific measurables to get us to a bigger place in the future.
I love that you mentioned that, because targets are not only financial, and they shouldn't only be financial. It's about building foundations for success, and that means you might see the success a bit later down the road. And processes and systems might not be sexy, but they are part of the foundations that will enable you to grow that much quicker. So
Definitely.
Nicole, I'm curious to know, at this stage in time, what is the most pressing thing on your mind that, if you had magical pixie dust to sprinkle in it, you would?
So the most pressing thing for me right now is how we help our clients navigate what feels like an uncertain year next year. It does feel like certainly there's a lot of instability in the world. There's a fair amount of economic uncertainty, and we're seeing no matter the category, a slowdown as compared to 21, 22, and people are just a little bit slower to hit the buy button or hit the
Mm.
commit button. And it's up to us to navigate clients and businesses through that. I think there's more opportunity than there is anything else. I think that our firm is well suited to get people there and to find new ways to get people to click the buy button and to give reasons to buy and be part of our clients' economies. But I think that we have to just go even harder in terms of supporting our clients, helping clients navigate. It's 2021, 2022 is, I think there was just a lot of it was a unique economic time when you look at interest rates, and you still had government putting some money back into the economy. You're not going to see that next year. And I just think, people are just thinking differently about purchases. And so it's up to us to help businesses through that.
And I 100% agree that has come up before when I've been doing interviews. People have said, yeah, clients are taking longer to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking longer to buy. And as I said, I don't think there is any magical pixie dust you can sprinkle on it. But as you said, you can see it as an opportunity. Okay, well, how do we help guide our clients through this buying process? How do we demonstrate the value? How do we do things differently to make it easier for them to say yes, rather than, and obviously you can look at it in a negative way as well, which looks like people aren't buying like they used to, which of course has an element of truth to it. But it's in the challenge that we have to get that bit more adaptable.
Exactly. And in our business, I think the biggest opportunity, so I guess that would be the challenge, but the opportunity is, you now have all these tools and resources in AI. Our business is become really AI enabled, and in every way, in analytics, in content creation, in creative. We are an AI enabled agency. And the upside of that is that we could just be smarter and faster and more efficient than we were before. So that's, super exciting.
Yes. I mean, anyone that is not thinking about AI at this current stage is certainly not seeing what's coming down the road, as far as I'm
Definitely. Yes.
So Nicole, in terms of how you view leadership, I'd love to know how you personally define strong leadership and how you see it impacting the growth of your company.
That's a great question. In terms of, for me as a leader, I'm there to empower my team and give them all the nurturing support, tools, resources to be the best, and also to keep us on track on that, on that roadmap to what do we have to do to be a better organization than we were a day ago, a month ago, a year ago. And that is my focus, as well as attracting the best talent and retaining the best talent. I'm proud to say that we have two kind of key retention metrics. One, we have probably the largest percentage of boomerangs than any other agency. So people would come to us to kind of start their career, go off to kind of maybe go client side or find something else, and then they come back to us. And I think that is because we have a culture that is supportive and flexible, but also meaningful. We work with clients who respect us, who we believe in their businesses and what they do. And our other retention, so it's not just our team retention, which is quite strong, and we have a strong client retention. So the average tenure of our clients ranges anywhere like 9 to 11 years. Usually in the performance marketing space, clients tend to churn through agencies. It's usually 18 months to 2 years. You're not happy with how things are going, and the first team to go is the agency. We hold on to clients quite long because we believe in a partnership model that's, puts our skin in the game, that we're feeling like an extension of you and your team. And we don't rest until we deliver. And that is unique in my space, from my viewpoint.
Yes, I mean, having worked with agencies in the past with, various businesses that I was involved in, I can certainly say that as an outsider, holding on to clients for like 9 to 11 years is extremely impressive. So
Thank you.
yeah, and also, you mentioned the boomerang effect, so people like to come back, which is a testament to your working environment as well. And I think the point I want to highlight, because you've mentioned it before, so the last 2 years especially, you've been focusing more on working on the business rather than in the business. I just want to highlight that creates the space that you need as a leader to really be there for and empower your team, and to think about who you're hiring and how to retain them. Because if you're trying to do everything at once all the time, it's very difficult to do that people leadership part properly.
Definitely. Yes.
So how have you invested in yourself as a leader, and what steps do you take to continue learning and growing in your role?
Great question. One, I credit, I'm a member of YPO, Young Presidents Organization. I've been a member for 8 years or so, and it's all about lifelong learning. And I just was in Portugal with my forum, my YPO forum. It's a group of 8 of us, and some of us have known each other for that 8-year time frame. And you're always pushing each other, kind of, quite, like it's this group that's become my almost personal board, that, in every aspect, just business, personal, family. And you get the time and space to reflect on how could I be a better parent, a better spouse, a better leader, better to myself. And so that YPO journey has been great for me. As part of that journey, I've become really mindful of putting on my own oxygen mask first before assisting others. I have young kids and a business, and it becomes really easy to let days go by where I'll skip the workout, I'll forget to eat. I'm running from one meeting to the other. And I can't say I've perfected it. I definitely haven't, but I'm constantly trying to make sure that I'm, putting that oxygen mask on first, because I can't nurture anyone else if I'm not, operating at my best. So you're hearing a little raspiness because I probably could have taken care of myself over the past week. But it's a journey, and it's something I have to get better at all the time.
And I want to say, at least you're conscious of it and aware of it. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, it's like the thing that kind of slides first. And I think, maybe you're never there. Maybe you're never like, get that balance exactly right, but as long as you're conscious of it, as long as you schedule certain things into your calendar, into your day-to-day activity, then at least you're putting your finger on the pulse of that. Because at the end of the day, you cannot be there for your family, yourself, your company, your employees, if you are not there for yourself, because you're literally, I think the expression is, you're giving from an empty cup. I
Right,
think that's the
exactly.
expression, yeah. And to just comment on the other point you mentioned, read that support group. Again, that comes up so often because leadership, entrepreneurship, it can be a really lonely journey. And so it's good to have that network of people that you can rely on, and that board of advisors, which looks slightly different for different people. Sometimes it's a formal board of advisors, and sometimes it's an informal group of people that you can draw on depending on what it is that you need at that time.
Yes.
Okay, final question, Nicole. If you could go back in time and give one piece of advice to your 20-year-old self, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good one. That I definitely don't know everything. Probably throughout my 20s and 30s, had super strong opinions, which weren't always informed opinions. I think I probably could have done a better job really listening and learning, and having like a diverse mentor base that I could learn from. I feel like I have it now, but if I had it in my, earlier years, I would have been a superpower. So, yeah, that you don't know what you don't know. It sounds pretty obvious, but it's true. And yeah, I wish I would have had a broader learning mindset than I probably did.
That really resonates with me, actually, because the older I get, the more I realize, there is always so much to learn. So it almost feels like the older you get, the less you know. It's just
Right.
you're more aware of all the things that you don't know, which, in my opinion, is actually, one of the things that makes up a great leader is someone who's naturally curious. And that curiosity comes from knowing that you don't know everything and wanting to go out there and learn more about it. Whereas I can certainly say in my 20s as well, I probably thought I knew I knew most things. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Nicole, I've really, really enjoyed this conversation today.
Same. Same. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And to my listeners, I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation as well. If you would like to take part in the Leading in the Modern Way interview series, please do reach out to me. Bye for now.